Hey guys, I'm so excited to share this look with you guys. It's a super dramatic fall makeup look, but it's all drugstore, so I'm obsessed with that. This look was inspired by a YouTuber that I just randomly came across. Her name is Maddie Bernard. I'm gonna leave her link down below. She basically did a really beautiful dark glossy lip. So I immediately fell in love and wanted to create an entire look for you guys surrounding a beautiful deep glossy lip. So we're starting off with the Maybelline Prime Light Primer. We're gonna put this all over except the T-zone just so that my face can be really nice and healthy and glowy. But I obviously need to keep the T-zone matte because I do have a really oily T-zone. So I'm using the NYX Pore Filler in the T-zone and the Milani everywhere else. So for foundation, I'm obsessed with these two, but I love the combination of combining them. So I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me foundations, Dewy and Smooth, and Matte and Poreless. I love mixing them. It just gives me the perfect like healthy mix. I really was obsessed with how it came out. I'm using them both in the shade 310. And I'm also using my Real Technique sponge to blend it out, which I really love this Real Technique sponge. It's one of my favorites. It's super bouncy and it blends everything out perfectly. So this drugstore concealer is amazing. This is the Maybelline Master Conceal. I've been using this for years. It is very full coverage. It's very comparable to the MAC concealer. Super full coverage. The only thing is I wish it had like a nice doe foot applicator, but I mean, this still works. I'm just putting that underneath the eyes and down the center of the face, and I'm using the NYX Dewy Spray. I love this spray, you guys. It does definitely give you like that nice healthy dew glow. So I'm applying that in the middle of my makeup just because I wanted to really make my foundation and concealer blend out nicely, and I just love how that spray worked. So I am going to set the under eye and the center of the face with the Wet n Wild contour palettes, and I'm using both of the highlighting shades and just mixing them together. So anytime I want to look super glam, cream contouring is my go-to lately. So I love the Wet n Wild contour stick. You guys know this. This is Oaks on You. I'm using this on my e.l.f. 103 brush just to give me a nice cream bronze. I'm just going to do this in bouncing motions just so that I don't move my foundation underneath. I'm going to bring this up the temples, up the forehead too, just to give me a super bronzy look. And I'm also going to bring this along the jawline just to really kind of contour and shade that area. So to really add some extra definition and contour, I'm taking the Rimmel contour stick in dark, and I'm just going to apply that on a Morphe E7 brush, and I'm really just going to add that extra glam, dramatic contour. I am obsessed with this contour stick. The formula is amazing, and I really love this shade. It just gives me that extra dramatic contour, and I'm just kind of buffing it out with the e.l.f. 103 brush too, and whatever's kind of left over on the brush, I'm just applying a little bit on the temples and forehead too. And I did take the same Rimmel contour stick in medium and applied that on the nose, and then I'm just quickly blending it out with the e.l.f. 103 cream brush. I did apply a little bit of dark on the lip just to give my lip that extra pout and contour. Moving on, I'm going to set that with the Milani Soleil Baked Bronzer. This bronzer is beautiful. I use it all the time. It just has that beautiful lumosity without it being overly shiny or anything. It just looks really good, and it's not overly pigmented either, so it's just really easy to apply and easy to blend out. Definitely a fave drugstore bronzer. So moving on, I'm taking the Maybelline Strobing Liquid, and we're going to do some highlighting. I wanted this look to be like dewy, like healthy, dewy, glowy. So I'm applying that on the Real Technique sponge and just putting that on the high points of the cheeks, high points of the brow, kind of forehead area, the nose, and the Cupid's bow, and a little bit on the chin area. Moving on, we're using the Maybelline New Molten Gold highlighter. You guys, this highlight is magical. It looks wet, like literally wet on the skin. It is such a great formula. You would think it costs like $40. It's beautiful. I'm using the Morphe, what brush is this? Let me pick it up. This is the Morphe M501 highlighting brush. I love this brush for highlighting. I'm clearly just highlighting a ton in this video, but it just looks so healthy and beautiful, especially paired with like a deep glossy lip. So I'm adding a little bit of color to the cheeks. I didn't want too much, but I still wanted a little bit. So I'm taking the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette, and I'm mixing that like mauve nude with the berry shade and just applying a little bit on the cheeks. Moving on to the brows, I've really been loving the Maybelline Brow Precise Micro Crayon. First, I'm just combing out the brows, and then I'm gonna go ahead and outline the brows on the bottom and on the top. I really wanted like a bolder, thicker brow for this video. I don't know, I was kind of feeling that. So I went ahead and kind of, as you can see, drew my brows in a little bit thicker than I normally would, and I kind of filled them in more, made them a bit bolder and darker. I really like this pencil, it blends beautifully. It's actually a new fave of mine. I've just recently tested out and I really like it. So after I fill that in, I'm just gonna kind of lightly touch up the inner part of the brow and make sure I brush out the brows too. I'm gonna go on and use the e.l.f. Shadow Brow and Liner palette. This is an amazing little palette to have. I'm taking the darkest shade and using that to really deepen up the outer parts of my brows just to make them super bold and fill them in. And then I'm taking the second darkest shade and I'm just using that on the inner part. I've really been loving using shadow on my brows. It just makes them look fluffy and natural. And I don't know, it finishes them really nicely. And then I'm finishing it up with some L'Oreal Brow Stylist Gel in medium/dark and taking transparent just for that extra hold. Moving on to the eyes, my eyes are already primed and set with the Maybelline concealer and a little bit of powder. So I'm taking the Milani bronzer and I'm just kind of dusting that in the crease just to add a little bit of warmth, but I later on realized that you could just use the shadow I'm going to use next for this step too. So either way, we're just taking a really nice kind of warm shade and just dusting that in the crease. This eye look is so easy and like messy, very simple. It's just super smoky and sultry, extremely simple and easy. So I'm just taking that, fluffing it everywhere underneath the eye, on the outer part to wing it out. So we're taking this NYX lid lingerie or lingerie lid palette, and I'm taking this beautiful warm shade. This is the shade that I said you could also easily just use this in the crease too, but I'm also bringing that onto the lid, and I'm just kind of creating that extra smoky dimension, but we're gonna go in later on, or right now, with this beautiful deeper shade, and I'm also gonna mix it with a little bit of this shade from this NYX palette, this kind of like beautiful berry red shade, and we're just gonna smoke that out on the lid. So first I'm just applying it, and then I'm gonna dust off my brush and use that same brush to blend it. But first you just wanna apply it and then you wanna blend it with a clean brush because you don't wanna take the shadow too far, because that's when you can kind of start to look like the shadow's bruising, and you don't want that. So I'm applying it first, cleaning the brush or using a separate brush, and then blending it out. And I am gonna kind of pack on the color a little bit more, also underneath the eye, and just really smoke that out. Of course, you wanna do a ton of blending, so I'm using the Sigma E40 brush. And I am just building up that color, as you can see here, just to make it a little bit deeper. And building it up on the lower lash too. I am also just wetting this inner corner brush by Sigma and applying the highlight on the inner corner and really packing it on there. I just love that little like hint of highlight that it added to the inner part since the rest of the eye was pretty matte. And then I am just gonna go ahead and apply some mascara. I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. And I am gonna pop on some falsies off camera. The falsies aren't drugstore, but they're online and affordable. So that's the only product that was affordable, but either way, they're these Social Eyes lashes in Minx 2.0. Super affordable, and they look really, really good with this look because they're super like spiky. So they added that like flare and that sass with the glossy lip. I love the lashes with this look. Moving on to the lips, like I said, I really wanted a dark burgundy lip, so we're taking the Milani liquid lipstick in, now I can't remember, I believe it's Adore. Either way, I'm gonna leave it down below for you guys. Beautiful, beautiful shade. I did find the formula on this specific shade to be a little bit patchy, but I was able to kind of work with it regardless. And I did want a glossy lip like I mentioned to you guys. So I kind of decided to create my own little combo and create my own little glossy burgundy lip. So I did that by combining these two shades from the L'Oreal Infallible Paints. These are really nice like cream glossy lipsticks. So first I'm applying that deeper shade, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mix in the red, and that's what's gonna create this beautiful like glossy burgundy shade. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So just mixing in that red and just kind of mixing it so that I can create just that deeper burgundy shade, and really make sure you get on the outer edges too so that everything mixes in properly. And then I'm just gonna finish up the look with the NYX Dewy Spray, and that's pretty much it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look. I'm obsessed with how it came out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.